Well, advanced defending can really change your gameplay. Always get asked questions: what do pros use? Is advanced defending really the future? And does it actually make your defending better? It is true. It does make your defending better, but there's so much misinformation in videos and general knowledge in the community that I thought I just want to make a video and explain it in detail. Now, advanced defending and stuff, I'm going to show you some examples to try to depict this as best as I can. But advanced defending, it's a bit of a complicated one because I think where people understand it, they don't understand where it's useful. The best thing I can always try to explain is I try to give my example as best as possible. Ignore the controllers, but just ignore this, by the way, for a second. With tactical defending, think about it like if you have a car, sports car. Like so my car's got launch control. It can measure my temperature, the grip, when it needs to change gears. When I plant my foot down and I'm on launch control, the car's going to get to 0 to 16, whatever, 3 point whatever, 4 seconds, whatever it is. If I try to do that as a human, trying to shift gears, even with a DSG gearbox or whatever, or T-Tronic, whatever they call it nowadays, I can't reach that speed. I can never shift as fast as a computer. Tactical defending is a bit like that, like the launch control example I've used. It helps you out a lot. But the thing is, everyone is saying advanced defending is better. Now, it is true. It's better, but only if you're a top tier player. The problem is that most players struggle with defending. In fact, if you're watching a tutorial, you will be in that situation. Maybe you might be a high level player, but defending is most people's weakness, even with AI defensive being OP. So I would honestly, this is why I say in general, as an overview, I would say advanced defending is just for the elite plus players. When I mean elite plus, I mean high skill rating. Even pro players don't use advanced defending. But I think it's the future because it gives you the ability to choose. Do you want to attempt to do a shoulder challenge or a seal out? Now, this is important in many ways and kind of not in some ways. In this situation, for example, like here, let's say you're the player in red. When you're trying to do a seal out, for example, sometimes the game might choose the wrong function for you. But just bear with me. I'll explain what I mean in a second. And if you do a seal out, for example, you can basically guarantee the chance. And if you want to make a tackle, you can basically guarantee a tackle every single time. But the truth is, even with playstyles and team of the season boost, the game doesn't penalize you for using tactical. That's why even pro players, most of them, still use tactical until the game, maybe in the future, maybe one day they'll change it, like how they were jockeying being manual, then assisted and manual. But as it is, tactical, the game doesn't penalize you. So when the ball's in its vicinity and you press tackle button, for you to probably circle or B by default, the game knows whether to use a seal out or shoulder challenge or whether to tackle the ball. And that's the problem, is that it's just so effective. The game doesn't make that mistake. And when you're on a high level, I still use tactical defending. The main reason why I use it is because A, I have remap controls. So like when you do see me press the buttons, I might press different buttons. But B, there's no use to use it, not yet. If I want to guarantee a tackle, I just do a slide tackle anyway. For a seal out, I'll press the tackle button and the game is smart enough to know when and where to do it. So that is why when I go back to this example, people say, oh, should I be using advanced defending? I would say no. However, there is one benefit I would say is as we're coming towards team of the season, the end now, ultimate team of the season, this is the best time to experiment with your gameplay. The thing is that most people, they spam the tackle button. I'm telling you, even the elite players, especially now, as I said to you, the so-called fake elite players, people don't like me saying this. Half people in the league don't even deserve to be there because of no relegation. Like, can you imagine if they had like the championship and all these different leagues with no relegation? Everyone's like, imagine like my local team, as like in Division 2, whatever, League 2, whatever. They'll make their way to the, let's say the Premier League, they didn't have numbers, but limit how many people were in each league. But no relegation, every team will eventually make their way up. That's what's happening in the elite division. So a lot of players don't know how to defend there. So is advanced defending useful? Yes. There's certain situations where you can control, and this is why I think at a high level with play styles, I know with team and season players, you can kind of get away with doing things that maybe you wouldn't otherwise do, especially because you've got the pace if you make a mistake. But with advanced defending, if you do a seal out when you should be taking a tackle, you will miss the seal out and your opponent will get away. That's a risk you just cannot take. And the problem is, although you might think it's easy to do in terms of button pressing mechanically, but under pressure inside the game, when people panic, most people don't even have to even use a jockey properly. You're going to panic and the person's going to get away from you. You much rather control the run and jockey, which is the most important thing when you're defending, as opposed to tackling. Don't forget, You can tackle the ball by the player just running into you. If I always teach you, just use the running jockey and the ball. In fact, when people come, you're part of my Patreon series, or people come new to the game, even people in like Division 1, Elite Division, and you're strong with defending, I always say, use these two to defend, let the ball come to you. Because every time you make a tackle, you step out of position. And that's why people think that, oh yeah, advanced defending is really effective, because they think that when they're doing these movements, they're getting rewarded for it. But actually, they're not. And then the final thing I wanted to say is, in general, another car example, if you're strong with defending as it is, should you be using or trying advanced defending? Okay, yeah, try it out. But in my opinion, like, think of this is the example I give. Imagine you learn to drive a car and you're already struggling to drive a car. Let's say you're struggling to learn and your test is like in a few weeks' time, you're driving an automatic. Can you imagine if your instructor said, why don't you start learning a manual car now? Is that going to help the situation, or is it going to make it worse or better? It's going to make it way worse. So just stick to it, because the AI is so good. But when maybe one day in the future they change tactical defending and AI isn't as good, or you get rewarded more with advanced defending in the future, then I think it's worth it. Could there be a potential that they force it, like, with manual jockeying, you're forced to use manual jockeying? Maybe not, who knows? But that's kind of the dig on advanced defending. So for me, it's more of like literally an elite level plus thing, if you know when to use it and when not to use it. Apart from that, I don't really see, if you're talking about real benefits for the average player, I don't see any benefit. I think you're actually at a disadvantage by using advanced defending. While it's like assisted shooting. The example I said with assisted shooting as well, right? Assisted shooting, most people use it. I think maybe, I don't even know how many people use precision shooting, but probably very few. But precision shooting rewards you if you know how to use it. Go use precision shooting right now and try. You're going to miss a target so many times. And even then, I'm actually quite proficient with precision shooting. I don't use it in my tutorials because I don't think you need to learn how to use it, and you shouldn't even know how to use it. That's just for like long shots, but power shots, you can do that anyway. But I digress. With assisted shooting, for example, most players should be able to use it. It's very, very seamless. It should be simple. The shot itself should be going in. But that is why precision shooting might have a bit more of a newer stance on it, that I kind of want people to move towards it because of how bad finishing is. But who knows, next year finishing could be better. We know the game changes year by year. That's just something just to note. But yeah, I just wanted to clear that with the whole advanced defending thing. Yeah, so yeah, use it if you've got the ability. Just be careful, because I use remap control, so just be careful on your button combination. And remember, like as I said, they removed legacy defending before back in the day, then they made it to tactical. And do you remember when they made it tactical defending, how hard it was? Because before legacy, you just hold the X button. So unless they get rid of tactical defending or they nerf it significantly into the ground, I see advanced defending no real use case unless you're a top tier player and you really know what to do. And even then, to be honest, at my level, if I need to guarantee a tackle, I just press the slide tackle button anyway. The main thing is, above everything, is player position. You need this player to be in the best position as possible. What it is, unfortunately, most of the time is this player over here. Most people don't have to position this player correctly. So even people say, oh, I can do advanced defending because I might be behind. So this is the only use case people say is, hey, Neil, the difference is that, okay, when I'm using advanced defending, I might not be next to a player, but I can kind of, with the bruiser chemistry play style or something like that, I can basically get the ball, nudge them from behind. But that doesn't improve your defending. That just helps you get away with something you shouldn't get away with. That shouldn't even exist in the game, but you should be defending properly. And that is why positioning trumps everything. So realistically, it's all about positioning. People always confuse that. It's not about button combinations, jockey styles, or it kind of is in some ways, but it's all about positioning. Positioning is important, you're fine. And that's the biggest issue. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to see more videos in regards to advanced defending, where I explain how to use it, when to use it, check out my Patreon series. I've got videos on there. I've got 3-4 videos, full in-depth videos on each aspect, what's the difference and how they vary. Link is down below in the description, patreon.com/. Guys, thanks for watching. Take it easy, of course. I'll catch you next time. Peace out.